battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun.
Where the place?
Upon the heath.
There to meet with Macbeth.
I come, Grey Malkin.
Had a call.
And none.
Fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air.
What bloody man is this? He can report or seemeth by his plight of the revolt the newest state.
This is a sergeant, who like a good and hardy soldier fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend, seek to the king the knowledge of the broil as thou didst sleep.
Doubtful. It stood as two spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their arms. The merciless Macdon, with fortune on his damned quarrel smiling, shone like a rebel's whore. Those two weep for brave Macbeth. Well, he deserves that name. Disdaining fortune, with his brandished steel, which smoke with bloody execution, like valor's minion, carved out his passage till he faced the slave, which ne'er shook hands, nor bade farewell to him till he unseamed him from the nave, to the jaw, and fixed his head upon our battlement.
Oh, valiant cousin, worthy gentleman.
Mark, King of Scotland, mark! No sooner justice had, with valor armed, to dispatch those skipping kerns to trust their heels, but an Olympia lord, surveying vantage, and with new supplies of men began a fresh assault.
Dismayed not this our captains, Macbeth and Banquo?
Yes, as sparrows, eagles, or the hare, the lion. If I say sooth, I must confess they were as cannons, all charged with double cracks. So they doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe. Except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds or memorize another Golgotha, I cannot tell. But I am faithful. My gashes cry for help.
So well thy words become thee as thy wounds. They smack of honor, both. Who comes here?
The worthy Thane of Ross.
What a haste looks through his eyes. Shows you the look that seems to speak things strange.
God save the king.
Whence camest thou, worthy Thane?
From Fife, great king, where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and fan our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Corda, began a dismal conflict, till that the loner's bridegroom, brave Macbeth, confronted him with self-comparisons, curbing his lavish spirit, and to conclude, the victory fell on us.
Great happiness.
That now Sweno, the Norwegian king, craves composition, nor did we deign him burial of his men, till he dispersed at St. Column's Inch $10,000 for our general use.
No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go, pronounce his present death, with his former title, greet Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
I will drain him dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day hang upon his penthouse lid. He shall live a man, forbid. Weary 7 nights, 9 times 9. Shall he dwindle, peak, and pine? Though his bark shall not be lost, yet it can be tempest tossed. Look what I have!
Show me, show me!
Here I have a pilot's stamp, erect as homeward he did come.
A drum! Macbeth doth come!
Inhabitants of the earth, and yet are aught. Live you, or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me. By each at once her choppy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be winning, and yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so.
Speak, if you can. What are you?
All hail Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of drama!
All hail Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail Macbeth, that shalt be king hereafter.
Good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, are ye fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly ye show? My noble partner, you greet with present grace, with great prediction of noble having and of royal hope, that he seems rapt withal. To me, you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me. For neither beg nor fear your favors nor your hate.
Hail! 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 Lesser than Macbeth, and greater.
Not so happy, yet much happier. Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth. All hail.
Hey! You imperfect speakers, tell me more. By Finnell's death, I know I am Thane of Glamis. But how of Cawdor, the Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman, and to be king, stands not within the prospect of belief no more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, or why upon this blasted heat you stop our way with such prophetic greeting. Speak, I charge you!
The earth hath bubbles that the water hath, and these are of them. Whither are they banished?
Into the air, and what seemed corporal melted as breath into the wind. Would they had stayed.
Were such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten on the insane root that takes the reason prisoner?
Your children shall be kings.
You shall be king.
And Thane of Cawdor too, when did not so?
To the self-same tune and word, it is it.
King has happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success. And when he reads of thy personal ventures and the rebels' fight, his wonders and his praises do contend, which should be thine or his.
We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee.
And for an earnest of a greater honour, he bade me, from him, call thee Thane of Cawdor. In which edition, hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What? Can the devil speak true?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. Treason's capital, confessed and proved, have overthrown him.
Glamis and Thane of Cawdor, the greatest is behind. Thanks for your pain. Do you not hope your children shall be kings? When those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them.
That, trusted home, might yet enkindle you unto the crown, besides the Thane of Cawdor. 'Tis strange. And oftentimes, to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths. Win us with honest trifles, to betray us in deepest confidence. Cousins, a word, I pray you.
Two truths are told, as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. I thank you, gentlemen. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success, commencing in a truth I am Thane of Cawdor? If good, why do I yield to that suggestion, whose horrid image doth unfix my hair, and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man, that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Look how our partners rapt.
If chance will have me king, why chance may crown me without my stir.
New honours come upon him, like our strange garments, cleave not to their mold, but with the aid of use.
Come what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your letter.
Give me your favour. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turn the leaf to read them. Let us toward the king. Think upon what hath chanced, and at more time, the interim having waited, let us speak our free hearts each to other.
Very gladly.
Till then, enough. Come, friend.
Execution done on Cawdor? Are not those in commission yet returned?
My liege, they are not yet come back. But I have spoke with one who saw him die. Oh, did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons, implored your highness pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like the leaving it. He died as one that had been studied in his death, to throw away the dearest thing he owed, as 'twere a careless trifle.
There is no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. Oh, worthiest cousin, the sin of my ingratitude, even now, is heavy on me. Thou art so far before that swiftest wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Only I have left to say, more is thy due, and more than all can pay.
The service and the loyalty I owe
in doing it pays itself. Your Highness's part is to receive our duties, and our duties are to your throne and state, children and servants, which do but what they should by doing everything safe toward your love and honor.
Welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee, and will labour to make thee full of growth. Noble Banquo, that has no less deserved, let me enfold thee, and hold thee to my heart.
There, if I grow, the harvest is your own.
My plenteous joys, wanton in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Sons, kinsmen thanes, and you whose places are the nearest, know we will establish our estate upon our eldest Malcolm. We name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland, which honour must not, unaccompanied, invest him only, but signs of nobleness, like stars, shall shine on all deservers. From hence to Inverness, bind us further to you.
The rest is labour which is not used for you. I'll be myself the harbinger, and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your approach. So humbly take my leave.
My worthy Cawdor.
The Prince of Cumberland. That is a step on which I must fall down or else o'erleap, for in my way it lies. Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires. The eye wink at the hand, yet let that be which the eye fears when it is done to see.
True worthy Banquo, he is full so valiant, and in his commendations I am fed. It is a banquet to me. Let's after him, whose care is gone before to bid us welcome. It is a peerless kinsman.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfectest report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, into which they vanished. Whilst I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before the weird sister saluted me, and referred me to the coming on of time with Hail, King, that shalt be. This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightest not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell. Land thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, that wouldst thou holily, wouldst not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Thou'dst have great glands, that which cries, thus thou must do if thou have it, and that which rather thou dost fear to do than wishes should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal. What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it. Is not thy master with him? Who, were it so, would have informed for preparation?
So please you, it is true, our Thane is coming. One of my fellows had the speed of him, who almost dead for breath had scarcely more than would make up his message.
Give him tending. himself, his horse, that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits. And tell on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood. Stop up the access and passage to remorse. Let no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breasts and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers. Wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and pour thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold! Great Glams, worthy Cawdor, greater than both by the all hail hereafter. Thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my Dane, is as a book, where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for. And you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall, to all our nights and days to come, give solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear. To alter favor ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
Castle had the pleasant seat. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses.
This guest of summer, the temple-haunting martlet, does approve by his loved mansionry that the heaven's breath smells wooingly here. No jutty, frieze, buttress, nor coign of vantage, but this bird hath made his pendant bed and procreant cradle. Where they most breed and haunt, I have observed the air is delicate.
See our honored hostess. The love that follows us sometime is our trouble, which still we thank as love. Herein I teach you how you shall bid God gild us for your pains, and thank us for your trouble.
All our service, in every point twice done and then done double, were poor and single business to contend against those honours deep and broad wherewith your Majesty loads our house. For those of old, and the late dignities heaped up to them, we rest your hermits.
Where's the Thane of Cawdor? We coursed him at the heels and had a purpose to be his purveyor. But he rides well, does great love, sharp as his spur, and halt him to his home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guests tonight.
Your servants ever have theirs themselves on what is theirs in compt, to make their audit at your highness' pleasure, still to return your own.
Give me your hand. Conduct me to mine host. We love him highly, and shall continue our grace towards him. By your leave, hostess.
them quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with his surcease success, that but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all, here. But here, upon this ranken school of time, we jump the life to come. But in these cases, we still have judgment here, that we would teach bloody instructions which, being taught, return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poison chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed, then as his host, who should against his murderer shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off, and pity like a naked newborn babe, striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim, horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the side of my intent, but only vaulting ambition which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. How now, what news?
He has almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
No, you're not. He has.
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since? And wakes it now to look so green and pale as what it did so free? From this time, such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valour as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteem'st the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon thy wood like the poor captive behind?
Prithee, peace! I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
What beast was then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. Nor time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves. And at their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love that babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you have done to this.
If we should fail!
We fail. But screw your courage to the sticking place, and we'll not fail. When Duncan is asleep, or to the Ravish on his day's hard journey sounding invited, his two chamberlains will I with wine and wassail so convince that memory, the warder of the brain, shall be a fume, and the receipt of reason a limbect only, when in swinish sleep their drenched natures lie as in a death. What cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Bring forth men, children only. For thy undaunted metal should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received? When we have marked with blood those sleepy two of his own chamber, and used their very daggers that they have done?
Who dares receive it other, as we shall make our griefs and clamour roar upon his death?
I am settled and bend up, each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
How goes the night, boy?
The moon is down. I have not heard the clock.
And she goes down at 12.
I take 'tis later, sir.
Hold. Take my sword. There's husbandry in heaven. Their candles are all out. Take thee that, too. A heavy summons lies like lead upon me, and yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers, restrain in me the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose. Give my... Who's there?
A friend.
What, sir? Not yet at rest? The king's abed. He hath been in unusual pleasure and sent forth great largesse to your offices. This diamond he greets your wife withal by the name of most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became the servant to defect, which else should free have wrought.
All's well. I dreamt last night of the three weird sisters. To you they have shown some truth.
I think not of them. Yet when we can entreat an hour to serve, we would spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
At your kind pleasure.
If you shall cleave to my consent when 'tis, it shall make honor for you.
So I lose none in seeking to augment it, but still keep my bosom franchise and allegiance clear, I shall be cancelled.
Good repose the while.
Thanks, sir. The light to you.
Go bid thy mistress when my drink is ready. She strike upon the bell. Get thee to bed. Dagger, which I see before me. The handle toward my hand, come let me clutch. Thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision sensible, to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation proceeding from the heat oppressed brain? I see thee still, in form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshallest me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now o'er the one-half world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings and withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel the wolf, whose howls his watch. Thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides towards his design, moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk for fear. Thy very stones prate of my whereabout, and take the present horror from the time which now suits with it. Whilst I threat he lives, words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
drunk hath made me bold. Would I quench them and give me fire? Peace. It was the owl that shrieked. The fatal bellman, which gives the sternest good night, he is about it. The doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their possets, that death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die.
Who's there? Who?
Alack, I'm afraid to have a wait, and 'tis not done. The attempt and not the deed confounds us. Hark. I laid their daggers ready, he could not miss him. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done it. My husband!
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did not you speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended?
Aye.
Ha! Who lies in the second chamber?
Donal Bain.
This is a sorry sight.
A foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
There's one did laugh in sleep and one cried murder. That they did wake each other, I stood and heard them. But they did say their prayers and address them again to sleep.
There are two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and amen the other. As they had seen me with these hangman's hands, listening their fear, I could not say amen when they did say God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could not I pronounce amen? I have most need of blessing and amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought after these ways. So it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth does murder sleep. The innocent sleep. Sleep that knits up the raveled sleeve of care. The death of each day's life, so labor's path, balm of hurt minds, great nature's second course, chief nourisher in life's feast.
What do you mean?
Still it cried, sleep no more, to all the house. Glamis hath murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that thus cried? My word, ye can, you do not bend your noble strength to think so brainsakely of things. Go get some water, and wash this guilty witness from your hands. Why did you bring the daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I do no more! I am afraid to think what I have done. Look on't again, I dare not.
Infirm of purpose! Give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If he to bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms with old, for it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? How is with me when every noise upholds me? What hands are here? They pluck out mine eyes. Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No, this my hand will rather the multitudinous seas incarnadine, making the green one red.
My hands are of your color, but I shame to wear a heart so white. You're knocking at the south entry. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy is it then? Your constancy hath left you unattended. Hark, more knocking. Get on your nightgown, lest occasion call us and show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, 'twere best not know myself. Wake, Duncan, with thy knocking. I would thou couldst.
There's a knocking indeed. If man were porter of Hell Gate, he'd have old turning the key. Who's there? that hanged himself on the expectation of plenty come in time. Have napkins and now about ya. Here you'll sweat for it. Who's there? Into the devil's name. Faith. Here's an equivocator who could swear in both scales against either scale, who had committed treason enough for God's sake, yet could not equivocate to heaven. Come in, equivocator. Who's there? Faith, is an English tailor come hither for stealing out of a French hose. Oh, come in, tailor. Here you may roast your goose. Never have quiet! What are you? This place is too cold for hell. A devil portrait no further. I had thought you had let in some of all professions that go the primrose way to the everlasting bonfire. And on and on! Pray you, remember the porter.
Was it so late, friend? Ere you went to bed that you do lie so late?
Faith, sir, we were carousing till the second cock, and drink, sir, is a great provoker of three things.
What three things does drink especially provoke?
Marry, sir, nose painting, sleep, and urine. Lechery, sir, it provokes and unprovokes. It provokes the desire, but takes away the performance. In truth, much drink may be said to be an equivocator with lechery. It makes him and it bars him. It sets him on and takes him off. Persuades him and disheartens him. Makes him stand to and not to stand to. In conclusion, equivocates him in a sleep. Giving him the lie. Leaves him.
I believe drink gave thee the lie last night.
I that it did, sir. In the very throat of me.
Is thy master stirring? Our king is awake him. Here he comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow, both.
Is the king stirring while he pay?
Not yet.
He did command me to call time the other. I've almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I know this is a joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one.
The labor we delight in physics pain. This is the door.
I'll make so bold to call. It is my limited service.
Rose the king hence today.
He does. He did appoint so.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay, our chimneys were blown down. And, as they say, lamentings heard in the air, strange screams of death, and prophesy with accents terrible, dire combustion and confused events, new hatched to the woeful time. The obscure bird clamoured the livelong night. Some say the earth
Was feverous and did shake.
Was a rough night.
My good remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it.
No name.
What's the matter?
What's the matter?
Fusion thou hath made his mysteries. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke ope the Lord's anointed temple, and stole thence the life of the builder.
What is you say, the life?
Mean you his majesty?
Approach the chamber, destroy your sight with a new gog. Do not bid me speak, see and then speak yourself. Wake! Ring the alarm bell! Treason, Banquo and Donalbain! Malcolm, awake! Shake off this downy sleep! Death's counterfeit, and look upon death itself! Up! Up! And see the great doomed image! Malcolm! Banquo, rises from your graves, and walk like sprites to countenance this horror! Ring the bell!
What's the business? That such a hideous trumpet goes to parley the sleepers of this house. Speak, speak.
Oh, gentle lady, it is not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it fell. Banquo, our royal master's murdered.
Oh, alas! Put in our house?
Too cruel anywhere. Dear Duff, I prithee contradict thyself and say it is not so.
Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time, for from this instant there's nothing serious in mortality. All is but toys. Renown and grace is dead. The wine of life is drawn, and the mere lees is left as vault to brag on.
What is amiss?
You are, and do not know it. The spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped.
The royal father's murder. Oh, by whom?
Those of his chamber, as it seemed, had done it. Their hands and faces were all badged with blood. So were their daggers, which unwiped we found. On their pillows, they stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Oh, yet I do repent me of my fury that I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
Who can be wise, amazed, temperate and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment? No man! The expedition of my violent love outrun the pause of reason. Here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood, and his gashed stabs looked like a breach in nature of a ruin's wasteful entrance. There the murderers, steeped in the colours of their trade, their daggers unmannerly breached with gore. Who could refrain, but had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make his love known?
We heads all.
To the lady.
Why do we hold our tongues that most may claim this argument for hours? What should be spoken here where our fate hidden in augur hole may rush to seize us? Let us away. Our tears are not yet bruised, nor our strong sorrow upon the foot of motion.
Look to the lady. Fears and scruples shake us. In the great hand of God I stand, and thence against the undivulged pretense I fight of treasonous malice.
So do I.
So, let us briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall together.
Well contented.
sort with them. An unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. I'll to England, to Ireland I. Our separated fortune shall keep us both the safer. Where we are, there's daggers and men's smiles. The near in blood, the nearer bloody. This murderous shaft that shot has not yet lighted, and our safest way is to avoid the aim. Therefore to horse, and let us not be dainty of leave-taking, but shift away. There's warrant in that theft which steals itself when there's no mercy left.
Seest the heavens, as troubled with man's act, threaten his bloody stage. By the clock 'tis day, and yet dark night strangles the travelling lamp.
It's unnatural, even like the deed that's done. On Tuesday last, a falcon towering in her pride of place was by a mousing owl hawked at and killed.
And Duncan's horses, the thing most strange and certain, beauteous and swift, the minions of their race, turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out. Contending against obedience as they would make war with mankind.
'Tis said they eat each other.
They did so, to the amazement of mine eyes that looked upon it. Here comes the good Macbeth. How goes the world, sir, now?
Why, see you not?
Is it known that it is more than bloody deed?
Those that Macbeth hath slain.
Alas the day, what good could they pertain?
They were suborned. Malcolm and Donald, being the king's two sons, are stolen away and fled, which puts upon them suspicion of the deed.
Then 'tis most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth.
He is already named, and gone to Scone to be invested.
Where is Duncan's body?
Carried to Columkill, sacred storehouse of his predecessors and guardian of their bone.
Will you to Scone?
No, cousin, I'll to Fife.
Well, I will thither.
Well, may you see things well done there. Adieu, lest our old robes sit easier than our new.
God's benison go with you, and with those that would make good of bad, and friends of foes.
Thou hast it now. King, Cawdor, Glamis, all as the weird women promised, and I fear thou playest most foully for it. Yet, it was said it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings. If there come truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine. Why? by the verities on thee made good, may they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope? But hush, no more.
Here's our chief guest.
He had been forgotten. It had been as a gap in our great feast, an old thing unbecoming.
Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
That your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with the most indissoluble tie forever knit.
Ride you this afternoon?
Aye, my good lord.
We should have else desired your good advice, which still hath been both grave and prosperous in this day's council, but we'll take it tomorrow. Is it far you ride?
As far, my lord, as will fill up the time twixt this and supper. Go not my horse the better, I must become a borrower of the night, for a dark hour twain.
Fail not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling their hearers with strange invention. But of that tomorrow, when therewithal we shall have cause of state craving us jointly. Hie to horse, adieu, till you return at night. Goes Leon's with you.
Aye, my good lord. Our time does call upon us.
I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so I do commend you to their backs. Farewell. Every man be master of his time till 7 at night, to make society the sweeter welcome. We will keep ourselves till supper time alone. Well then, God be with you. Sirrah, a word with you. Attend those men our pleasure.
They are, my lord, without the palace gate.
Bring them before us. Thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares, and to the dauntless temper of his mind he hath a wisdom which doth guide his valor to act in safety. There is none but he, whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked, as it is said, Mark Antony's was by Caesar. He chid the sisters, when first they put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him. Then prophet-like, they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown, and put a barren scepter in my gripe, thence to be wrenched with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, for Banquo's issue have I filed my mind. For them the gracious Duncan have I murdered, put rancors in the vessel of my peace, only for them, and mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings, the seed of Banquo kings. Rather than so, come fate into the list, and champion me to the utterance. Who's there? To the door and stay there till we call. Was it not yesterday we spoke together?
It was, so please your highness.
Well then now, have you considered of my speeches? Know that it was he in the times past which held you so under fortune, which you thought had been our innocent self. This I made good to you. In our last conference, passed in probation with you, how you were borne in hand, how crossed the instruments, who wrought with them, and all things else that might, to half a soul or to a notion crazed, say, thus did Banquo.
You made it known to us.
I did so, and went further, which is now our point of second meeting. Do you find your patience so predominant in your nature, that you can let this go? Are you so gospel? To pray for this good man and for his issue, whose heavy hand hath bowed you to the grave and beggared yours forever?
We are men, my liege.
Aye, in the catalogue ye go for men! There's hounds and greyhounds, mongrels, spaniels, curs, shocks, water rugs, and demi-wolves are clipped, all by the name of dogs. The valued file distinguishes the swift, the slow, the subtle, the housekeeper, the hunter, every one, according to the gift which bounteous nature hath in him closed, whereby he does receive particular addition from the bill that writes them all alike, and so of men. Now, if you have a station in the file, not to the worst rank of manhood, say it, and I will put that business in your bosoms, whose execution takes your enemy off, grapples you to the heart and love of us, who wear our health but sickly in his life, which in his death were perfect.
I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world have so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the world.
And I another, so weary of disaster, took with fortune, that I would set my life on any chance to mend it or be rid of.
Both of you, no, Banquo was your enemy.
True, my lord.
So is he mine. And in such bloody distance that every minute of these being pressed against my nearest of life, and though I could with barefaced power sweep him from my sight and bid my will about it, yet I must not, for certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall, who I myself struck down, and thence it is that I to your assistance do make love. Masking the business from the common eye, for sundry weighty reasons.
We shall, my lord, perform what you command us.
Though our lives...
Your spirits shine through you within this hour at most. I will advise you where to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect spy of the time, the moment on't, for it must be done tonight. And something from the palace. Always thought that I require a clearness. And with him, to leave no rubs nor botches in the work. Fleance, his son, that keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than is his father, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart, I come to you anon.
We are resolved, my lord.
I call upon you straight, abide within. It is concluded. Banquo thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight.
Is Banquo gone? From court?
I imagine but returns again tonight.
Say to the king, I would attend his leisure for a few words.
I will.
Naught hath, all spent, where our desire is got without content. 'Tis better to be that which we destroy, than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy. How now, my lord? Why do you keep alone? Of sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which would indeed have died with those they think of. Things without own remedy must be without regard. What's done is done.
We have scourged the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself, whilst our poor Malice remains in danger of her former tooth. But let the frame of things disjoint, both the world suffer, ere we will eat our meal in fear and sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us nightly. Better be with the dead, whom we to gain our peace have sent to peace, than under torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst, nor steel, nor poison, malice domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him further.
Come on!
my lord. Sleek all your rugged looks. Be bright and jovial among your guests tonight.
So shall I love, and so I pray be you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Present him eminence, both with eye and tongue. Unsafe the while that we must lave our honours in these flattering streams, and make our faces visits to our hearts, disguising what they are.
You must leave this!
Oh, full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife! Thou knowest that Banquo and his flayons lives?
But in them nature's copies not etern.
There's comfort yet. They are assailable. Then be thou jocund, ere the bat hath flown his cloistered flight, ere to black Hecate summons the shard-born beetle, with his drowsy hums hath rung night's yawning peal. There shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night, scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens, and the crow makes wing to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, whilst night's black agents to their prey do rouse. Thou marvellest at my words, but hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill. So prithee, go with me.
But who did bid thee join with us?
Macbeth! He needs not our mistrust, since he delivers our offices and what we have to do to the direction just.
And stand with us. The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day. Now spurs the lated traveller at pace to gain the timely inn. The near approaches the subject of our watch.
Hark, I hear horses.
Give us the light there! Oh!
That is he! Light, the light! Stand to it!
It is he.
It will be rain tonight.
Let it come down.
No, Rectory! Fly, good player! Fly, fly, fly! Thou mayst retain! Oh, slave! Who did strike out the light? Was not the way? There's but one down! The sun is flame!
We have lost best half of our affair.
Well, that's the way you say how much is done.
Degrees, sit down. At first and last, the hearty welcome. Thank you. Ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host.
Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time we will require her welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends. For my heart speaks they are welcome.
See, they come to thee with their hearts thanked. Both sides are even. Here, I'll sit in the midst. Be large in mirth, anon we'll drink a measure, the table round. There's blood upon thy face!
'Tis my post then.
It's better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?
My lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him.
Thou art the best of the cutthroats, yet he's good that did the like for flayance. If thou didst it, thou art a non-pariah.
Most royal sir, flayance is skin.
Then comes my fit again! I had else been perfect! Whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and general as the casing air. But now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound in to saucy doubts and fears. What Banquo safe?
Aye, my good lord. Safe in a ditch he bides, with 20 gashes on his head, the least a death to nature.
Thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies, the worm that's fled, hath nature that in time will venom breed. No teeth for the present. Get thee on. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is sold that is not often vouched while 'tis a-making. 'Tis given with welcome, to feed were best at home. From thence the sauce to meat is ceremony. Meeting were bear without it.
Sweet remembrance, sir. Now, good digestion, weight, and appetite, and health on both.
May it please your highness, sit.
Here had we now our country's honor roofed on the great person of our Banquo present, who, may I rather challenge for unkindness, than pity for mischance.
His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Please it your highness to grace us with your royal presence.
The table's full.
Here is a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord. What is it that moves your highness?
Which of you have done this?
What, my lord?
Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me!
Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus and has me from his youth. Pray you keep seat. The fit is momentary. Upon a thought he will again be well. If much you note him, you shall offend him and extend his passion. Feed and regard him not. You are mad!
I, and a bold one, that dare look on that might appall the devil!
Proper stuff! This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. Starts, impostors to true fear, would well become a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorized by her grandam. Shame itself! Why'd you make such faces? When all's done, you do look but on a stool.
Prithee, see there! Behold! Look! Look! How say you? Why, what care I, if thou canst not speak too? If charnel houses and our graves must send, those that we bury back, our monuments, shall be the moors of kites.
What quite unmanded folly!
If I stand here, I saw him!
Why for shame!
Blood hath been shed ere now, in the olden time, ere humane statute purged the gentle wheel. Aye, and since two murders have been performed, too terrible for the ear, the time has been that when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. But now they rise again, with 20 mortal murders on their crowns, and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is.
My royal lord, your worthy friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all. Then I'll sit down. Give me some wine. Fill full. I drink to the general joy of the whole table. And
to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would he were here. To all in him we thirst, and all to all.
Our duties and the pledge.
I'm not to quit my sight! Let the earth hide thee! Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold. Thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with.
Think of this, good friends, but as a thing of custom, 'tis no other, only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
What man dare I dare? Approach thou like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, or the hirkin tiger. Take any shape but that, and my firm nerves shall never tremble nor be alive again. And dare me to the desert with thy sword. If trembling I inhabit then, protest me the baby of a girl. Hence, horrible shadow! Unreal mockery, hence! Why, so being gone, I am a man again. Pray you, sit still.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
Can such things be? And overcome us like a summer's cloud, without our special wonder? You make me strange, even to the disposition that I owe. When now I think you can behold such sights and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks, when mine is blanched with fear. What sights?
I pray you speak not. Question enrages him. He grows worse and worse. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night, and better health attend his majesty.
A kind good night to all.
It will have blood. They say blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have, by magpies and choughs and rooks, brought forth the secretest man of blood. What is the night?
Almost at odds with morning. Which is which?
How sayest thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
I heard it by the way, but I will send. There's not a one of them but in his house I keep a servant feed. I will tomorrow. And betimes I will to the weird sisters more shall they speak. For now I am bent to know by the worst means the worst. For mine own good all causes shall give way. I am in blood stepped in so far that should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go o'er. Strange things I have in head that will to hand, which must be acted ere they may be scanned.
You lack the season of all natures, sleep.
Come, will to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are yet but young indeed.
the air this night I'll spend unto a dismal and a fatal end. Great business must be wrought ere noon. Upon the corner of the moon there hangs a vaporous drop profound. I'll catch it ere it come to ground, and that, distilled by magic,
Sprites!
shall raise such artificial
Sprites!
as by the strength of their illusion shall draw him on to his
confusion.
He shall
Burn!
fate,
Scorn!
death, and bear his hopes of
Wisdom!
grace and
Fear!
And you all know security is mortal's chiefest enemy.
Come, let us make haste. She'll soon be back again.